Hello Aries, welcome to your February 2018 reading with me, Lorien. It's a pleasure to read for you every month, and I'd like to thank you for joining me today on this very rainy, in fact extremely rainy now. Look at it, it's very rainy, and I'm just going to see what kind of information comes up for you guys. So this is going to be for Aries Sun, Aries Moon, or Aries Rising. If you do have Aries in your Venus sign, then do look this up as well, just because it might give you a little bit of insight into your romantic time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull a few cards from here. This is a new deck. This is the Enchanted Tarot, and I got this for Christmas. And it's a very dreamy, very large deck. I mean, if you see it compared to this, look at how big they are. It's really big. So yeah, this is going to be a general reading, but if you want a personal reading, the link is below. And if you want to email me, my email is lorientarot@gmail.com. So I've been shuffling away, and I'm just going to see what kind of information comes through for you guys. One. Alright, they told me to stop, so I'm just going to stop. Let's see what this one is. Princess of Wands. This has come out fairly frequently, actually, for many people. So the Princess of Wands is basically the Page of Wands. So this is about an enthusiasm or a discovery of maybe something that you're good at, and also maybe a bit of a message coming through for you that may be about an opportunity that they want you to have, or a new goal that you may not have really focused on until recently. So I do think that you're going to find something that you're really keen to try this month. At least you're going to want to explore something, and it does feel a little bit like you are going to be more balanced. You're going to feel a lot easier in your emotions, and I think, yeah, you're going to express yourself maybe a bit with more enthusiasm as you were before. So let's have a look and see. I always seem to misjudge that. I'm just going to move that over there slightly. It's just because these are new, you know. They're so big. I'm not used to them. So you have the Six of Hearts. Don't worry, I will be putting these up. The Three of Swords. The Princess of Swords. So you've got two princesses in a row. Five of Hearts. Two hearts in a row. Ooh, and Four of Hearts. And at the bottom you have the World, which is really nice, actually. This is a gorgeous interpretation of the world. So this is basically, I think, occasionally feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. You may feel as though it's imperative that you figure out your place. It's imperative that you understand the world or your place in it. And I do think for some of you, this is encouraging. This is saying, look, you have whatever you want to do here. This is whatever you want to do. And if you hear mental running around, that is my kitten who's decided to have a silly half hour while it's weeing down outside. But yes, it does seem like there's a great attention that you're placing not just on yourself but on the world at large. Maybe you are more focused on certain things which you want to absorb and you want to pay attention to. Maybe you're wanting to figure out exactly what you can do to help certain things, so that could be a very strong connection there. But as I say, I've just gone through with the Princess of Wands here, but the Princess of Swords, there's two messages coming through. Now that one's very positive, but this could sometimes be a delayed message, and it's not, unfortunately, always good news. And I think that some people may be looking upon your decisions as a silly one in some respects. Some people may be looking at it and saying, oh, well, actually, we think that you should be doing this instead. So I think the case is just to ignore, if you can, the people who you don't really see eye to eye with anyway. Let's have a look. Yeah, literally as the rain goes outside, they're saying somebody wants to rain on your parade. So I think that's basically what they're trying to advise you against paying attention to. On the other hand, I think that this is something that maybe you receive like an unexpected bill or something like that, that you may think is the end of the world, but is actually not. It's not that much. It's just, oh, I was going to spend this on a new book or something. So it is kind of like, I'm going to take over the world until I've paid, you know, all this stuff. So that's kind of what's coming through. But you do have the 6 and the 5 together here, which is really interesting. Okay, so the 6 and the 5, it's kind of like a succession, I suppose, but you will probably have somebody coming back into your life in this one. And I had to put the light on, I'm sorry for the glare because it's so dark outside. But yeah, the 6 of Hearts is basically somebody that may be coming through back, you know, from the past, or maybe a bit nostalgic for the past, wondering how they were before, the good old days, you know, it never stays the same, does it, and all that kind of stuff. And then that might lead to the 5 of Hearts thinking, oh, it was so good when it first started, and now it's just not what I thought it was going to be. And obviously that's going to lead to disappointment. That's going to lead to some sort of feeling maybe of inadequacy on your half. And I really wish that that's not the case, because you're not inadequate. You are far from it. And I think that this is just something that you need to do maybe. And maybe it's you've worked so hard on something and you finally give it to somebody else to review, like your boss or something like that. And they suddenly turn around and go, oh, no. You need to do so much more to this. And you just feel like your heart is sinking through the floor and you're not very happy about it. We have all been there. And I think the best thing that I can advise you to do in that situation is just to go back in your rational mind a little bit, think of the world and the world domination that you want to take, and just kind of resist a little bit. Just resist feeling a bit fed up if you can. Because of course this is maybe about, a lot of the time, the 5 of Hearts is about crying over spilt milk. The actual opportunity is much bigger than this issue. This is fly in the ointment. So don't worry if you're feeling like, but it's all going to change and I've worked so hard and it's, you know, it's never going to be the same as it was before. That's not always a bad thing. I think you should continue going forwards. But this here, this is a really, really strong card to say that you may have a bit of grief. And this, you know, feeling, you may be like, oh no, what have I done to deserve this? But this is mainly about communication, and I think miscommunication is the devil in this time. You need to be more open with yourself rather than other people. Because I think anybody could come through and give you all this sort of fluctuations and things like that and give you different opinions. Just listen to yourself. Also, it could be that you have to separate from something that you really, really love and adore for a while. Maybe it's a pet, or maybe it's you know, a person that you really, really love and you have to be away from them for a while, or they have to be away from you. And I think that's probably going to give you a bit of maybe separation anxiety or something like that. But again, they can't tame you. All this is kind of saying, look, you've got to measure yourself, but I honestly don't think that they can tame you into doing anything. And then the 4 of Hearts, the Hearts, by the way, is cups. So the 4 of Hearts is all about stability. But I do think that you're very much needing to contemplate at the end of the month just to kind of figure out, you know, where you stand with yourself. So similar, let's have a look. So similar to the world here, you have to figure out where you need healing. Because to me, this bit here looks like a plaster or a band-aid. This comes across here and it's very much healing the world. But I think before you can heal the world, you have to heal yourself a little bit first. So you just need to brush yourself down, contemplate your next move, make sure it's in your heart center rather than your head center, because sometimes that can lead you astray. Too much reason can be overwhelming and not leave for any joy. Too much heart center can be overwhelming and not leave for any educational type or reasonable decisions. So that is where I think the limits are, is that you need to kind of put yourself in a certain direction, really. Let's have a look and see what we can get for you here. Alright, oh, okay, so there's two that want to come out. Not for the first is an upside down radio, which is basically a bit rigidity and maybe feeling like you're stuck in the middle. And I'm going to put this one here because that really does feel like that's the theme of this middle column. It's supposed to be travel and relocation and the dance of life and the promise of, you know, something new. But with this one, I just think that you're feeling a little bit, oh, but I don't want to change because it won't be the same as before. Please do, if you can, pick yourself up and do that. And here we have Laguz. Laguz, which is about life energy and your dreams and your hopes and your desires. It's not quite reverse. It's actually quite a positive one. But I would suggest that you try and turn it upright by living in your energy, living in your connection with water and things like that. So put that there. Because I feel that this is all about maybe feeling like there's an extra energy, you know, because if it was reverse, it would be a little bit of despair or confusion about your path to get to where you want to be and to get the healing. So I think that that's very connective for you. And then, hey, we have Aries, which is strength and a lot of physical strength. So I'll put that here because I do feel like this is going to be, I've got an opportunity. And that gives you lots of strength. But then your emotions may be compromised. I've been emotionally compromised. And you could be quite, you know, fluctuating in the month of February, which is not uncommon in February, I have to say, because of course it is Valentine's Day, the marketing favourite holiday, apart from Christmas. And so yeah, you might feel like if you're with somebody, maybe you're worried about how Valentine's Day is going to go, or you're kind of nervous, or it's your first Valentine's Day without anybody, or it's the person you want is not quite there yet, you know, that kind of stuff. So it could cause you a little bit of, I wish it was, you know, I was like how it was before, or I wish it was back to how it used to be. And of course that can take the wind out of your sails, and I really hope that that isn't the case. But it is natural to experience some fluctuations around this time. So, without further ado, I'm going to send you some healing. I'm going to send you some love and light. And I really hope that you have a good month despite some of the emotional ups and downs that seem to be here. Just be aware that this is something that may just take 5 minutes out of the month. It may not be for the entire month. It might just be a week. But this is what they wanted you to know. So, do take it as it comes for you. Let me know in the comments below how you get on. If you do want a personal or private reading, the links are below, as well as my email address in case you want to get in touch that way. And if you want to support the channel, you can always buy me a coffee, which is about $3. So that's a one-off donation. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you for subscribing and liking and sharing and everything that you do to help support me. Thank you so much. I'm wishing you all the best. I look forward to catching up with you guys. In the meantime, blessed be.